Ashe Gems. Welcome to the Empress Empire podcast. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm your host with the most, Ashanti or Sacral Empress. And today we are going to be focusing on tarot. Now, tarot has a big space in my heart. Tarot has got me through a lot. And without tarot, I wouldn't be here right now having this conversation. So shout out to tarot for putting me on game and putting me on the correct path, because I think that this is one of those things that I really felt called to in my journey. And it's really pushed me in the right direction as far as my spiritual journey and my healing journey specifically. So this is the Tarot Masterclass. If you guys are here live, thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of this. This is something that I will be doing every single Monday. So if you guys are interested in continuing to come up, make sure y'all keep up with me, join the group chat so that you guys know when the next one's going to be, so that y'all can keep up and sign up whenever new classes roll in. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to share a lot of information with you guys for this first half. We are going to be getting into a little bit of the basics, the origin of tarot, and also getting into the major arcana so that you guys are more familiar with the major arcana versus the minor arcana. So this is tarot, y'all. So what we'll be learning today, this is a form of divination involving tarot cards. So as you guys know, tarot is a deck of 78 cards, which didn't really start off as like a, divination or a form of divination. It was more so just a game. So I like to look at it as like, or not look at it now, but like back then, I just kind of think of it as like playing cards for people. So that's what it started out as. And it's evolved into a way that we communicate with our spirit guides, we communicate with our higher selves, the divine, or whatever entity that you guys connect with. But this has been a way for me to connect with myself a little bit more and a little bit deeper, because I didn't have that intimate relationship with myself. So tarot has definitely been a big help for allowing me to see things that I wasn't really looking at. So the purpose is basically to, I guess, provide some type of insight and context to what could be going on in your life currently. A lot of people assume that with tarot, like, oh, you can tell my future. And I've even had people tell me that, like, oh, you can read my future. And I'm like, not quite. Whatever spirit gives me is what I read. Whatever spirit shows me, whatever messages come through is what I provide. If it's for the future, cool. If I predict something, cool. But I never like to say that I'm able to read somebody's future, because energy changes constantly and we're not always going to be on the same timeline. So I could read for somebody one day and be like, oh, you're going to get this promotion. And then they make a decision that puts them in a position where they are not able to, get that. So it really depends. But 9 times out of 10, with tarot, it does provide you with insight for the present moment rather than what's going to happen 20 years from now or what's going to happen tomorrow or whatever the case is. So that's my spiel on tarot. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, y'all can comment it for me. My accent is so thick, so sometimes it's hard for me to say words all the way. But yeah, if you guys do have questions or anything throughout this, you can leave some comments in the chat so that I can read them and help y'all out. So I don't know if anyone's taking notes, but if y'all are free and ready to move on to the next slide, just drop a 2 in the chat so that I know we'll be good to go. But yeah, I started reading tarot and I was not really ready for the awakening that came with it. These cards really changed my life. And I wouldn't say in the sense of like, oh, this is the only thing that's changed my life, with my own inner work and my connection with my ancestors and spirit guides. It really did put me in a new path, and it really changed my mind, like, to a lot of things. So this has helped me evolve a lot. So hopefully for those that are beginners and have never touched a tarot card or a tarot deck in their life, hopefully you find something out of this, not only this masterclass, but, forming your own relationship with tarot as well. So are we good to move on to the next slide? I'm gonna assume so. All right. So moving on, this is the getting started slide. So how many of you are beginners? If you guys will let me know in the chat, how many of y'all are beginners, probably never touched a deck ever in your life, or maybe just kind of, or maybe just kind of interested, but not really sure. Somebody raised their hand. I saw it, but it went away. But yeah. this is one of those things that people have their misconceptions about it, especially when they're getting into tarot. So if you guys have any questions, you can just put them in the chat, especially about this part. So when getting started, I always advise people to look around. There's so many different tarot styles. I don't even know how many tarot decks I have. I can't even count because I don't even know. I don't even know at this point, but I have over 10 tarot decks just to be safe because I feel like it's more, but just to be safe. And even with that, I have different relationships with them. So with the deck that I'm using today, I don't really have like a deep, intimate connection with these cards because I don't really use them like that. But I have decks like Miss Cleo's tarot deck, this one right here, where I feel way more connected than I do to the other cards, or my Comedic tarot deck. This one, it's cute and it's adorable. And I think I like it because my inner child is just, so hung up on Disney and the villains too for shadow work and stuff like that. But, there are so many different tarot decks. I wouldn't even be able to count and tell you how many there are, but we're going to say that there's an unlimited amount of different tarot deck styles. So you got some for, Africans, you got some for, Latinas and Latinos, and you got some for, people that are Brazilian, and you got some for people that are Spanish. And there's so many different types of tarot decks. And if you're not really sure of your, ethnicity or nationality, you can look into, more so pop culture decks, which is usually what I gravitate towards. I usually gravitate towards this deck. I have a supernatural deck right here. Okay, so we got supernatural, we got Disney, I got a Friends deck, I got a Golden Girls deck.
Supernatural the show.
And just recently I got a Stranger Things deck. So, if you guys are, getting into it for the first time, don't even have a deck yet, I would definitely say to look around, find something that you feel called to. Some people start off with the major arcana, well, not the major arcana, look at me. Some people start off with the Rider Waite, which is this deck right here. So as y'all can see, this is one of the first. I'm not saying it is the first, but it is one of the first tarot deck styles. So with this one, this is more modern, like not modern in the sense of like, nowadays, but this is what people usually connect with when they start. This is the first deck that I've ever got. This is my first deck. So with the Rider-Waite tarot, this is what's usually depicted in a lot of the other tarot deck styles too. So some tarot decks usually copy the theme here. They might change the characters up or change up a few things, but it'll still be, but it'll still be this type of theme or look like this, and it'll just be different characters or there'll be different colors or whatever. But I have other decks where it doesn't look the same. And sometimes that's tricky. Sometimes that's hard, especially if you're looking at the picture and you always associate the picture with, like if you associate the Seven of Swords with this. If you get another deck, like one deck that I have, the African, I think it's the African American Tarot deck, none of the cards look the same. So if you're going to focus solely on the picture, I would say to get cards that resemble these type of cards rather than getting something that's a little different or the art's just not the same at all. It makes it harder to read, especially if you're focusing on the picture. That's why I'm teaching you guys the names and how to read the names rather than reading the picture. Because if you're just reading the picture, like I said, if you get other decks that don't really resemble the same theme, it's gonna be a little weird. It's gonna feel a little different. That was one thing that I struggled with when I started. I thought that, okay, I know how to read these cards. I'm Gucci. No, the moment I got the African American Tarot deck, I'm looking at the cards and I'm like, oh, this is different. This is way different. Like I didn't think that the cards were going to, be so, different. And I just expected them to all be the same. But sometimes that's not the case. So if you guys are looking for, your own tarot deck, and you want to find something that's more, I guess more similar to this deck, then I would say to look at the pop culture decks because usually they have the same, symbolism, they have the same, type of theme. But if you don't really care and you want to just get a deck that you feel called to, and it may not be the same theme, may not look like the original Rider-Waite, then I would say go for it. Just make sure that you learn the cards rather than trying to learn the pictures because there's a difference. Okay. Another tip that I always advise people that are starting tarot is to get a book. I know a lot of people feel like they don't need a book. and they would rather just learn it by themselves, go for it. Look, go for it. Okay. I do not mind. I feel like Google will provide you with a lot of context, but sometimes books have more, intimate information that, someone that's, spent a lot of time reading cards is passing down rather than a blog sharing a little information on each card. So I do feel like books just carry more information all in one so that you don't have to go from site to site to figure out what these cards mean and how to interpret them, so on and so forth. Another thing I would say is to find a deck that you feel connected to. So if you do feel connected to the Rider-Waite deck, then get it. I don't have a problem with it. I enjoy it. It was illustrated by a Black woman. So, you know, do what you will with that information. But with this deck specifically, it's what people usually draw to because it's the original. And it makes it easier to read because the symbolism is more simple and it's more, you can understand like what the cards are trying to say 9 times out of 10. Um, so even with getting a book, you can look at the picture and go from there and all that good stuff. You don't really have to stress yourselves out about reading the cards and trying to, you know, force information just by looking at a picture. So I would definitely suggest getting a book, but also getting back into, finding decks that you feel connected to. Like I said, there are pop culture decks. There are decks for different heritage. They have a hoodoo tarot deck. So if anybody practices hoodoo, they have a hoodoo tarot deck. They have all types. They got gummy bear tarot, they got cat tarot, they got dog tarot, they got all types of tarot decks out there. So I'm sure you can find one that you feel connected to. Even if the symbolism is simple, or if it's more complex, I feel like as long as you learn the cards themselves rather than trying to learn the picture, it'll make it easier for you to read all types of different decks, which is something that I have not really mastered just yet. But I feel like I'm getting the hang of it now because I was so focused on like the pictures and had a hard time translating that information over to different decks because sometimes the pictures wouldn't look the same. So I wouldn't say that I mastered it. I feel like still have more to learn. But that's why I'm teaching you guys because I'm sharing the information that I've learned within my few years. I think it's been 3 years now of learning tarot and just being around my cards. So this is just information for, you guys, especially if you guys are just, starting out. So when you do get your deck, you can interview it. There are spreads available online that you can try. So I know Pinterest is really good about having like, certain spreads available all in one space because some people got to jump from app to find them. So I would definitely say to go with Pinterest because they have a lot of different spreads, not only for interviewing your deck, but past life spreads, relationship spreads, career spreads, all of that. So y'all can find some on Pinterest. I thought about making some, but I'm just like, I don't know about that. It's probably not that hard, but we'll see. Um, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something before interviewing your deck. Oh, okay. So as far as like where you guys can get your decks from, I know that Spencer's, I don't know if y'all, this is just me naming stuff that I have here locally. So if y'all have these stores in similar areas or close to you, then y'all can check these stores for tarot decks if you don't want to like wait for Amazon to bring it or a different, website to bring it. But Spencer's has them. Barnes and Noble has them. If you have an Earthbound, they have them there. I'm trying to think where else. I don't know. Those are the main 3 places that I would go to where I'm at for a tarot deck. But 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna order from Amazon. I know Hay House is a brand that, illustrates and, prints off tarot decks. So y'all can check out Hay House. There are some people on Instagram that make decks as well. So keep an eye out on that. You might find something that you like. But those are the main places. Amazon, like I said it before, Etsy is also a good place. These are usually people that make the decks themselves. And then there's one website that I go to for literally everything. They got all things spiritual there, but it's called Magic. So magick.com. Y'all can go there and find some tarot decks. They probably are going to have the one for you there because they have a lot. Whereas Amazon is more limited in that regard. But yeah, those are the places that I would recommend going to find a deck if you are, a beginner and don't really know where to go. So the next thing I would advise people to do when they're getting started is to decide if you want to read for yourself or if you want to read for other people. I think it really helps with, finding your reading style. So if you want to read for yourself, then, you can maybe pull a card a day or however, you see best fit. But if you do find yourself wanting to read for others, then that's where you'll probably, read cards for other people just to practice. But, it's good to understand what your purpose is with these cards because a lot of people get them and just want to have them for show. And I personally don't see anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having it as some type of collectible, that's kind of what I've done. But I actually read the cards. But for some people, they like the way they look. Some people want to read for themselves, and some people want to read for other people. So it's good to just know. You can always change your mind, but it's good to know what your intentions are before getting into reading, because have some people will have, you know the right intentions, but never really set them. And then it just kind of makes the relationship with the cards weird. So just be aware of what you want to do with your tarot cards rather than just get it and then just going on about your day and thinking that, you can just do whatever. Um, so yeah, just be mindful of that. I feel like people don't set intentions, but I think setting intentions is good because you get the best out of the deck that way. Okay. And then last but not least, practice makes perfect. So understand the cards and form a relationship with them. So for me, I have a lot of decks. I have over like 40 decks in total, Oracle and Tarot. Um, and that list is getting bigger because I got another deck coming tomorrow. So I'll show y'all that on live tomorrow. I'll do another unboxing. Um, but yeah, with practicing, it really takes time. It's not always going to be a walk in the park and I can read professionally. It really does take time. For me, I would say it took me about 3 months to even get the cards down and understand what they meant. So 3 years later, I wouldn't say I'm struggling. I feel like I'm good at reading the cards now. It's more fluent for me, but it's still one of those things where I'm still educating myself. I'm still expanding my knowledge because it's not something that you just learn and then, oh, I got it. It's something that you have to continue doing, just like with anything. Um, so yeah, always practice. I couldn't put my cards down for nothing. Okay. I literally could not put these cards down for nothing. The moment I got my deck, I was like, you know what? I like this. This is fun, especially when I would like read for my family and they'd like be like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy." And my brother, he would literally flip out and just act like I just told him his entire life or something. So that's always fun. That's what kind of kept me engaged was the reactions that people got out of it. People were more excited, that I was doing tarot. And then you got people that don't really feel so good about it because they have their own beliefs, but that didn't stop me. I kept going. So if there's anybody in here that has family or friends that are against this stuff or just feel like it's bad or whatever, let them believe what they want to believe, because even in my experience, I had to learn for myself because I had my own, idea of what tarot was. And it wasn't necessarily negative. It was just always this fear that if I did connect with them, I'd be connecting with, demons and darkness and all this other stuff. How people try to like, fear monger you when it comes to spirituality. So I had my own personal beliefs. But I was aware that there are negative beliefs surrounding tarot as well. So when I had first got my deck, I asked the lady that worked there, I was like, "Are these cards evil?" And it was really just me asking somebody that, she's selling them. So I'm sure she knows what's going on. And she just told me that it's all about the intention. If your intent is to be negative while using these cards, then that's the outcome that you'll receive and vice versa. So, when she said that, I was like, okay, cool. Cause I was really going in to get a crystal and I ended up seeing the tarot cards and I always wanted them. I always saw them like in movies or TV shows that I was watching. And what really got me was the Princess and the Frog. So when we see the Shadow Man, he was messing with his cards and, the whole musical number, all that stuff. That's what drew me in. That's what made me feel like, okay, like I'm about to go get me a deck. Like I'm about to go read tarot, but I'm like 7, 8 years old, So at the time I couldn't get a deck. But when I got older, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get these just to try it out. And ever since, I never put them down. And the only reason for that is because it's just opened me up to more about myself, and helping me understand myself a little bit better. Because at the time I wasn't really in my right mind. Like I was just fresh out of high school and working these jobs. And I didn't really have time for myself. So when I picked up my first tarot deck, I was just like, this is it. Like, I don't know what it was. It's just a feeling of like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is, a part of my journey to some capacity. But I didn't know it was going to be this long of a time period. You know, how people think that, when we start doing something like, oh, you're going to give it up soon or give it a month. You won't be doing this no more. I'm like, I have a whole business. I have a whole entire business. I'm literally hosting an event, teaching other people and sharing my knowledge with other people. So you never really know what this can do for you. You just have to experience it for yourself. So, to hell with all the bullshit that people be saying and, oh, tarot's evil, it's demonic, you're talking to demons and all that other stuff, because they don't get the full on experience because they're so far up in their ego and scared of everything that they'll never get the chance to see what it can do for them. And it may not work for them. It may not be something that they feel connected to, but for the people that do feel connected, take advantage of that, even if you're using the cards for yourself. Okay, so we're going to move forward. We're going to get into the major versus the minor arcana. Okay, so these cards, 78 in total, unless you get a deck that has over like 80 or 60 or whatever. Some decks do just the major arcana, whereas other decks may just add different cards to the deck as a whole. So the 78 cards are split in half. First is a major arcana consisting of 22 cards, and then the minor arcana is a total of 56. Arcana basically translates to mysteries. So major mysteries, minor mysteries, right? So the minor arcana is going to reflect the everyday events, activities, choices, traits, abilities, and much more. This is what makes our lives unique. And then the major arcana is 22 cards that help us understand the fool's journey. And we're taken through what we like to call the circle of life. So when I had started really just diving deeper into my experience and, learning more about the cards, I felt I felt that the major arcana was like, the story of our lives, from birth all the way to our death. So that's how I started to look at it. And I remember when I was reading one time and my mom was like, tarot is a book. So when she had said that, it stuck with me. And I have ever since only looked at it as a book. So when I read for people, that's why I kind of have this like storytelling, style when it comes to reading tarot, because of that just one little remark, that one little comment made me look at tarot as a book. And you guys can look at it however you want to. It's all up to you. I think that everyone has their own reading style, but mine is usually surrounded by storytelling, because I get visuals or I'll hear things and I always try to translate it and tell it as if it's a story, especially when I'm like typing out readings. But yeah, with that, you got the fool's journey. So we start with the fool and we move all the way down to the world, which is the ending. It's the completion. And then the minor arcana, we can look at that as like, the little minor scenes in a movie that don't really, make up a majority, but it's a very big key point still, so it may not be everything, but it's something with substance that can still be considered. So people tend to think that the minor arcana means nothing, but it actually holds a lot of weight. Even if you get it in your spread, if you get it in a spread, you're pulling for yourself and you get like an 8 of swords or a 3 of wands or a 10 of pentacles, that still has significance. Just because it's not a major arcana doesn't mean that it's not as important. They're still important, regardless of where they may fall into the different arcanas. So I would definitely say to never feel like, when you pull a card that's not really, a major arcana, that it's a bad thing. It's always good to get minor arcanas just as much as it's good to get major arcanas. So don't feel like you have to fall into, a category of only wanting major arcanas, because it literally does not matter what you get, because they mean what they mean for you, right? So moving forward, we're going to get into the suits. Now, the suits is what makes up the minor arcana, okay? So we'll have our wands, we'll have our swords, we'll have our cups and our pentacles. And depending on the deck, these names can change. If y'all heard my live the other night, I had the Stranger Things deck and they literally changed all of the names to these things here. So it was like spokes, scoops, and all that other stuff. And I didn't even know what was what, because they switched it. So that usually happens with tarot decks. Some decks don't always follow the wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. They may change the names. It could be something else. I know cups are usually sometimes chalices. Wands can be sticks, or I know in one of my decks it's staffs. So it can change. Well, it may not always be the same pentacles or sometimes coins, like it changes drastically. So if you get a deck and you don't see pentacles, coins, or whatever, and it's something completely different, just know that I told you. Okay. So for the wands are used to showcase the journey of your abilities, gifts, and talents. And this can also get into passion, creativity, recognizing your power, protection, expression, motivational energy, willpower, and also taking action. And then we have the swords, which are basically the mental. I always see this as the mind. So if I was able to like show y'all like what part of the body these would represent, the swords would be the mind, be your brain. Whereas the wands would probably be more of like your reproductive organs. And then the cups would be our heart. So the cups is basically showcasing the flow of emotions, really getting into our emotional journey, and how we process our emotions, and how we express them. If we do express them, whether we walk away, whether we, engage, whether we reminisce, whatever it is, the cups will basically represent our emotional side. And then the pentacles will be more of the physical, showcasing work, showcasing, the things that we own, things about ourselves, whether it's our physical appearance or just tangible items that we own, things like that. So that basically covers all of that. Now, getting into the element that corresponds with the different suit. This is what I personally believe and what makes sense to me. Some people switch it up. Sometimes these things aren't as constant as you would think. Some people change it. But it's up to y'all to decide how y'all want to view the different suits. So if y'all feel like fire is really the pinnacles, then cool, But this is just what makes sense to me. So I associate wands with fire just because the cards in itself seem to speak a lot about passion, and thriving in a specific area of your life. And then we got air for swords, just because the mind, it just kind of makes sense for it to be air. And then we got water for cups, and don't even ask why, because I mean, it would make sense, right? For cups and water to be, the same. And then we got pentacles, which will represent earth. So this is something that also helps me when I'm reading for people, because I incorporate a lot of the stuff y'all are going to see anyways. I tend to incorporate into my reading style. But the reasoning for that is because you can associate what could be going on in someone's life, whether it's just the theme, whether it's just, an additional message that could come from it, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to be using the Seven of Swords as an example all day. So we got the Seven of Swords here, right? So swords is air. So this is going to cover breakthroughs, clarity, mental awareness, coping, battling, focus, and consistency. So as we can see here, we got 7 swords here. And the number 7 is usually what I associate with the divine, a higher power, things of that nature. So you could basically look at this and see that this person may be encouraged to walk away. It could be something mentally telling them to walk away. And with the element of air is more flowy, it's more adaptable. So for them, maybe they're moving into a space that's more adaptable. You see? So that's kind of how I be going into the cards and reading. But, it really just works for me. So if it works for you too, then that's perfect. So moving forward, we're going to get into the court cards. So the court cards are basically going to be the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So we usually see this for all of the different suits. You're going to have a page of cups, a page of wands, a page of swords, so on and so forth. Same thing goes for the knight, queen, and king. So the page, I like to look at this as an adolescent, someone that's younger, someone that's new to something. So if we got the page of pentacles, this might be someone that's new to a job. And that's the example that I'm going to use because I want it to make sense. So the page is basically going to be somebody that's new to a job, right? The knight is going to be somebody that's been there for a little bit, but not that long to know how things work, or still maybe adjusting to the space. Queen may be someone that's in like a higher position along with the king. The queen is just going to be more, engaging and, wanting to help in any way that she can. Whereas the king is just going to be somebody that's kind of like sitting back. So you can see the king is like the CEO or whatever the case may be. And gender has nothing to do with these. Anybody could be a queen, anybody could be a king. So With the knight, this is someone that's applying knowledge, whereas the page is someone that's getting the information, learning the information. The knight is going to be someone that's applying it. So, just like we said, we got the page here. This is going to be someone that's just coming in for training, whereas the knight is someone that's probably out of training, but still trying to get the feel for everything. And then the queen is someone, and along with the king they're both people that have mastered everything, and have more information. And one may have more information than the other, but it seems to be in different areas of expertise. So if y'all have any questions about the quirk cards, y'all can let me know. But hopefully that was a good example, self-explanatory for the most part. But yeah, we're going to move forward. So if y'all do have questions or ever need me to go back to any of the slides, I'll just let me know. So we're about to get into the major arcana. Okay. So I'm going to show y'all the cards, basically give y'all some examples. And we're just going to get as much information as possible. I don't know if anybody's taking notes, but if y'all are, please let me know, so that I'm not going too fast. So starting us off,
I'm taking notes, and yeah, you aren't going too fast, but it's okay. I screenshot it.
You could have said something.
I screenshot it.
Okay. You could have said something pages ago, but it's okay. All right. So we got the Fool here. The Fool is basically the newborn soul. Now, this is going to be based off of how I view it and how I like to tell the story of the Fool. So as y'all get more familiar with the cards, y'all probably be able to gravitate more towards what y'all feel these cards represent. But I like to see the Fool as a new soul. So think about us coming into the world as a baby, right? This will be the Fool. So in a general spread will basically just be you're pulling cards with no intention, just kind of pulling, just a pull. Love will be like for a relationship, connection, finances and career will basically be finances and career. And then the spiritual journey will basically be more of like the lesson, or just any spiritual guidance. So with the general, this card is going to symbolize the awakening that your soul is about to embark on. A fresh start is on the horizon, and this symbolizes letting spirit guide you and leaving all expectations in the past. And also to trust your soul and that you're I can never not even say that, but trust that your soul knows what to do and where to go. So with the Fool, this is usually depicted as somebody standing over a cliff, usually with like a little companion. I think he's got like a little angel up there. I couldn't see it at first, but he's got a little angel. He's got a good angel and he's got a bad angel. But usually this is basically one of those cards that, comes out to represent that, you're moving into a new space, but it's before you move into that new space. It's like, are we going to move forward? Are we going to stay here where it's comfortable? So sometimes this card can encourage people to take a leap of faith, and not let fear get in the way of how they operate their lives. Okay. So we got love and relationships. So when this comes out for love and relationships, there is a need to gain a renewed perspective on love and relationships and let your heart guide you to where it feels called, even if it looks weird to others. Also beware of seeing yourself and others through an illusion. I'm just going to say illusion because my mouth is like, my mind and my mouth, they literally work at different speeds. But anywho, it's basically when you see people in a lens that isn't really the truth, kind of like when you wear rose-colored glasses, right? So you always want to refrain from having this misconception. So it's really like a card that can protect you sometimes. It just depends on where we're looking. So when it comes to finances and career, I would definitely say that this card is, maybe talking about moving into a new path when it comes to career. Finances, it could be a new source of income, but you basically want to approach this area of your life by doing something different, trying something that isn't really in the norm, because the Fool is somebody that's going against the grain. This isn't somebody that's doing the same old thing and being around the same old people. This is usually, a card that, encourages you to try something new, step out of your comfort zone. So next is a spiritual journey. This card is a reminder to be okay with the world not understanding your soul's journey. There's a need to see life from the purity of a childlike mind, body, and soul. And there's also a need to have unwavering faith in that your spirit is basically got your best interest, and also the universe as well. So I'm gonna give y'all some time to write. Y'all just let me know when y'all done. Okay. Y'all let me know. I'm gonna make Instagram jealous because a lot of people should have showed up. Okay, perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had 30 people sign up and only 15
Oh,
people
wow.
here.
Only 15. Yeah.
But it's cool. They gonna wish they would have came. They would have wished they
Girl,
would
they gonna wish
have pulled
because
up.
you dropping knowledge for real. You dropping knowledge.
Thank you. we gonna make them jealous. Hold on. Yeah, my camera
They
is
is
never.
really missing out.
They are missing
And then
out.
you really breaking it down really good, like for because when I was doing it online, not online, but like looking at YouTube videos and stuff, they were breaking it down okay, but they weren't like going in on the cards like what it would mean for love or
Right.
finances, spiritual journey. They wasn't doing that. So
Yeah.
I
A lot of people just say this is what the card means and that's it. But
right, yeah,
there's
that's
so
what they
many
were
different
saying.
meanings, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad y'all learning something. Sorry if I was going fast in the past. I was just trying to like get through. But yeah, when y'all are done, just let me know. Y'all want some music? Just a little music?
Sure, yes.
Okay, bet. I don't even care if I get copyrighted. Just got the copyright. All right.
I'm embellished, by the way, but my name is Zara.
Oh, okay, Zara. I know you.
Yeah.
All right. Go listen to some Janae Aiko. But yeah, when y'all are done, just let me know. And we'll move on to the next questions. Anybody have any questions or anything?
Yes. Will you be able to send us the slides?
I can.
Are you
I have to put it
comfortable with that?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm screenshotting too. And just like somebody just said in the chat, I want my notes to be really pretty. I want to be able to refer back to them.
Right, me too.
Like somebody just said, the
Me
best.
too.
Like I go online and I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, I'm more confused than when I started. This is like
Yeah.
thorough. It's like, it's something about hearing it from like representation matters from somebody that look like me too.
Right.
So
Yes.
Okay,
True.
period. Yeah, so these will be every Monday, y'all. So like I said, if y'all join the chat, y'all can let me know like what else y'all want to learn. I don't think we're gonna get all the way to the minor arcana, to be honest, because we got like 20 something cards to cover. And if y'all want to split it up, we can do half of the cards this week and maybe the other cards next week, just so that it's not too much or y'all not here too
Yeah, because I
long.
know it is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of cards. So we could stop at like the lovers, just so that it's not too much. I know people are taking notes, so that'll probably be better. And that way we have more to cover next week. Because after the minor arcana, we'll be getting into the psychic abilities and, basically how to,
See, and that's what I need for real. Because I already know I have something, but I just don't know what it is. I know I could feel, I could hear, I could see things, but
yeah, it's hard because I know for me when I started, I was hearing stuff. I was like, huh? Like, who was that?
Right,
Who's talking to me? Hold on a second.
I be hearing my name and I'm like, who? Okay, what?
Yeah, at that point you think you're going crazy. You're like, what the fuck? So when
for real.
About
my mama think I'm really going crazy. She like, are you on drugs? Like, is it the weed? Like, are you God. What is it? Because I'd be like, you call my name? And she'd be like,
no. It'd be tripping me out, especially when I first started. And then I had started to get like twitches on my body, and I was like, what the fuck? Because usually my eye would twitch, and that was it. That's all I would do. That's all I would do was my eye. And then it started to be my thigh, and then it might be my arm or my toe or whatever. I was like, what the fuck? So there's a lot that when you.
What did that end up meaning? What did that mean for you?
I usually see it as like my higher self communicated with me through my body. So I started to like apply the astrology to my physical body because there's like a specific astrology for like the body. So then I started to learn like what placement represented what, like Sagittarius rules the thighs. So when I learned that, I was like, okay, this is my higher self communicating with me, basically giving me knowledge, insight. And when my right thigh would twitch, I'd basically know that was like, a yes for me. So whenever I get a twitch on my right thigh, I'd be like, okay, that's a yes, and so on and so forth. So then I'd start to like have conversations with myself, and then different parts of my body would twitch, and I'd be able to like apply it to astrology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I share a funny moment? You gave me a reading and you told me about like this relationship I just ended, and you said my right thigh twitched. You need to let him go, and I was like, no, let him go, and then I just let him go. I was like, you're right, fuck, I should have listened.
Yes, yeah.
I'm like, your thigh twitched. No, I'm listening to myself, and girl, you was right.
Yeah. That's usually what'll be my indicators. Like when I do y'all's readings on live, and sometimes I'm not sure like what spirit trying to say, I'll ask and they'll give me a twitch, whether it's on my right thigh or my left thigh. my left thigh is a little like like kind of like try again. That's kind of like what I associate my left thigh with. But when my right thigh twitches, that's a yes. That's confirmation 9 times out of 10. But yeah, we'll be getting into the psychic abilities so that you guys can understand, y'all's own placements, and also have like little activities. I'm telling y'all too much, but I basically have like little activities to go with it. So like,
I'm
if you're
excited.
I am too. I am too. Y'all make sure y'all keep up and stay signed up so that y'all don't miss out on anything. But yeah, when it comes to the psychic abilities, we'll basically be doing like little tests just to see like, where your, strengths are, where your weaknesses are. And then for future reference, we'll be able to develop. So if y'all want to like master all the psychic abilities, I'm here to help y'all. Okay.
Right. The only thing
I'm here to help y'all.
The only thing I have ever done in practice was like intuitive games. So I have a friend that I met at Starbucks, and he practiced hoodoo, and he also is like he's also into tarot and stuff. And me and him, we went back and forth with he would ask me like guess what SERP he was looking at, and while he was at work and I was at home, and I would guess it correctly.
Yeah, that's dope.
What would that be like? That's
when you're doing the psychic class.
What'd you say?
When are you gonna be doing the psychic class? When is that?
So when we finish the minor arcana, which I don't know when we're gonna finish that, but when we do, I'll probably say like week 4, just to be on the safe side. So the 4th week. So I'm doing this every Monday. So say next month, like somewhere in October, we'll be doing psychic abilities and helping y'all understand them a little bit better, and going from there. Because I basically have like pictures up, so y'all can like look at the pictures and for like clairsentience to see what you feel, and you can share that like what you're feeling, and then with the clairaudience, what are you hearing? Are you hearing anything? So it's something that we can do in the group chat, especially if y'all just want to practice and just, before we even get there. So that group chat's open to everybody that's here. Y'all can basically ask questions or whatever. Some of y'all probably in there. But that'll basically be our space to connect. I'm gonna drop the link again. Hold on, let me see if I still got it copied.
I want to say thank you so much for this class.
Of course. Oh, somebody dropped it. Thank you, Jess. So anyway, I'm like, I can't pin it, but Jess dropped it for y'all.
What made you want to do this class?
Do the class?
Yeah, for tarot. How come you wanted to do it?
Well, I did it before. I did it, I'm gonna say like a couple, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I had hosted like an event kind of like this where I was just going in teaching, and I think I still have those slides, but I had already done it before. But I've always seen myself as like teaching people in any regular sense. But when it came to tarot, it was one of those things where I was like, more people need to be hip to this. There's so much knowledge to gain. And I think even with tarot, like I said earlier, it taught me a lot about myself. So I found it, to be convenient to teach other people because, this has helped me heal, in so many different ways. So I wanted to share with other people because I feel like this method of healing is not really looked at. People just kind of see it as, oh, you're flipping cards and all this. Like, I'm unlocking stuff about myself when I pull these cards out, and a lot of people look at it as a bad thing and whatever. But, this has saved me, it saved me from a lot of stuff that, I was struggling with. So, it's one of my passions. So I enjoy sharing my passions with people. That's why I be going live all the time. Because
that's amazing.
Love this. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. All right, y'all done with this slide?
Almost.
Okay, just let me know, boom. Just let me know. All right.
I know for me, I was just recently, like probably like 2 months ago, I was I was like, man, I need to surround myself around people that are on their spiritual level, like heavy, like, not coming into awakening. They've been at this and they're just trying to develop and grow deeper. And I was like, it's kind of hard when you don't really have people that's really into it, as heavy as you are, and it's no connection for real. And they're like, oh, well, they looking at you crazy, like, and it's just like,
you're the chosen one. out your group, you know.
Out of the group. And I was like, but I need some guidance. I need help. Like, I want to start doing more because I feel like it is a guidance. And you can learn a lot about yourself and you can learn a lot about people. And it just shines a light on a lot of things. Just tarot alone really shines a lot of light. So I was like, man, I got to get into it. I want to get into this heavier than what I am in. And it's just like, I've been reading the books. I've been trying to do the tarot, but I just need to surround myself around, like, find my damn soul tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, right. It's just so funny. And I don't think I know you. I think I followed you on Twitter. I don't know where. And then you said you're having a masterclass. I didn't know what the hell. And you was having it for free. I was like, oh my God. Like, because 2 months ago, I was just saying, like, I already manifested. I was like, look, I'm about to get serious. Like, whatever. And then boom, boom, boom. Then you're talking about the psychic abilities. That's what I really got really heavy into because I took a break from tarot because I'm like, because I was basically reading for myself a lot because I was kind of like scared to start reading for people.
Right.
Psychic abilities. I was like, what happened to me? That really heavy, so I'm kind of like stuck on that. So it's just so funny. You're just saying everything that I'm already looking for. So it's just like, why? What happened? Like, where's this coming from? But you said you've done it up before, so that's really amazing. And just thank you. I'm just sending you gratitude.
Yeah, I honestly look at you as a blessing. You are a blessing.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, for real. I really appreciate you because I had took a break from tarot too. I had started running a holistic business from my house. I offer herbal steaming for the yonis. I do foot detox, massages, all type of stuff.
Oh wow.
But like people, they still come to me for readings, but I had always like studied like my cards and like all my like, because I have a deck from you actually too. And like I always used to study, but I just haven't because I've been so busy like doing the yoni steams for everybody. But I've been wanting to. So I was so happy to see you having a class because I'm like, I've been wanting to be in communication with like-minded individuals as well.
Yes.
Like it just feels so good to be in the frequency and to be able to just be authentic in that vibration. Like, you ain't even gotta like, like we literally
fake
all
it, like
or
down yourself.
Learning from you. Yeah, it's like so amazing to know like we can have a group of people that nobody's gonna down talk what we're doing or like not be afraid of like deep diving, like that's this
that
really
full
beautiful
card energy. It ain't, and nobody else gonna understand it.
Full card.
There you go. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, you getting love?
Taking a leap of faith.
Angelis, you hugs, love, much gratitude, my love.
Thank you. I love y'all. Love you guys.
I'm just starting with tarot. Like I usually, I first started with Oracle. I don't know. I was drawn to Oracle first, only because I was kind of scared of tarot and thinking that it was just too much for me to handle at the moment. Like I just couldn't do that read for anybody. But when I started my online business, I started off with giving people in my community tarot readings, and even though all my messages were accurate and they were feeling it, I just always had self-doubt, like, oh, I mean, just these 4 cells. I mean, I would look at my 4 cells like it was just nothing, and I don't know. And then I also got caught up with life and finances, and I stayed losing my jobs. Like I could not keep a job for nothing. But I will always look at it like this is just a sign that I'm not supposed to be working a 9 to 5. I'm supposed to be doing what I love, which is helping people.
Facts.
And I've always been like a speaker on my Instagram. Like I wouldn't speak, I would type, but I would get a lot of views like from in my community. Like in Baton Rouge, it's very small in Baton Rouge. And for me to get like over 300 people that view my story and I'm just typing out, and I really think that, well, I used to think that nobody's listening, but after people started to like comment and reply and say how much I've helped them, and
feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It gave me motivation. So I continue to speak on my Instagram, even when people think that I'm crazy. Like I've had people come to me and tell me that I'm trying to start a cult or something. Like I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just sharing my truth. That is people's
favorite thing to say. People love to say, "Oh, you're in a cult," or "Oh, you're a Satanist," and all that other shit. Like,
right.
Please.
And I wasn't even doing anything with tarot or oracle. I was just speaking my mind. Like, I feel like I have a gift. Well, I guess I have. I guess. See, I always see all that self-doubt and stuff. I need to get over that. I have some healing to do for real.
Oh yeah, of course. We all do. That's okay.
Yes, but I feel like I have a gift of what is it called? Like being able to tap in, like my word, like stuff that when people come to me and ask for advice, it's like I always have the right thing to say. Like even if I don't know the situation, I feel like my life is so short. I haven't gone through a lot of things, but I'm able to give so much good advice to people, and it actually helped them, you know.
Yeah, you tapping into that soul wisdom. That's all.
Oh yeah, that's what that right.
Yeah. Our lives may be short, maybe 20, 25, 30, however old, but this ain't our first rodeo. You know, this ain't our first experience. You know, we've experienced a lot on other planets or this planet going on a cycle, you know. So we sometimes think our age determines our knowledge and our wisdom, but a lot of us are ancient souls, you know.
Yes,
a lot of us have been here for years.
Yeah, it's my parents really put that in me, saying like, oh, you're young, so you don't know this and that. So that's why
we don't listen to that noise, because, you know, even for me, like my mom tells me sometimes, like, you're like my mom sometimes, you know, because my mom will always say like how her mom wasn't in her life, but, you know, I seem to be playing this motherly role for her because I'm healing, you know. So sometimes, you know, on our healing journey, we end up, you know, teaching our parents stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes parents are ignorant and don't think that they can learn anything from their kids, but that's where you miss out on that relationship that you could have with your kids, because children hold knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Babies hold knowledge. They just don't hold the same knowledge that we do. So sometimes it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about and all that other stuff. But, you know, my niece and nephew, they teach me how to just be free and to just be out there and don't give a fuck about nothing. You know? All right, y'all done with this slide?
Wow, and that's breaking like generational curses. A lot of times we're here to break generational curses, and it starts with the parents. God dang, maybe one of the most stubborn. Hey, listen.
That's
you go to the next slide.
Okay, perfect. All right, so next we got the Magician. And this card in this deck is my favorite. It's because look who's on it. It's the Shadow Man. If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have got into tarot.
Oh wait, that's Princess in the
like
Frog?
at all. Yeah. Got the Shadow Man. Yes, we love him. So with
I'm
the
gonna get that
Magician.
deck. That's a Princess in the Frog.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not the Princess and the Frog, but it's the Disney villains. So he's in
Disney villains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
he's
I
in
get
it.
that.
Yes, it's a good deck. All right, y'all.
Because I remember you saying like the decks should have some type of meaning, like recognition to you. Right. I feel like that resonated for real.
Yeah. I could use that. Yeah, definitely. And it's like an inner child thing for me. Like I'll get this deck and then I'll get like other ones. Like they got an Alice in Wonderland deck. Like they got all types. Yeah, they got all types of decks out there.
Get on that.
Definitely. So yeah, y'all, this is the Magician. When I think of the Magician, I think of the creator of the universe. Hold on, let me turn this music off because I literally forgot about it. Okay, there we go. All right. So with the Magician, I see this as the creator of the universe. Now, when we think of like this as a whole, when I had made these slides anyways, I was thinking of the idea of like the creation of everything, all of existence, right? So the Magician is basically going to be who we see as the creator or God or the divine, or the most high, or whoever, you know, you want to view it as. But the Magician is a part of all of this, you know? So a lot of people think like, oh, you can't be God or you can't claim God, all that other stuff. But if we're made in God's image, then we have the same creative particle that God has. So with this card, this is God, but this is also us too, because we're able to create things. We're able to bring things to life. Whether it's knowledge, whether it's presentations like this and settings like this, environments that, you know, are safe for people. This is, basically the idea that, we are creators. So when you see the Magician card, it's going to have its own little meaning depending on the spread. But we're going to get into it. So in the general sense, this is the importance of alchemy. All the traits we possess show up to help us throughout our journey. Here we are in the creator space, opening up our mind, body, and soul to initiate change. So when we think about the creator, or even just the magician itself, as the card is, I like to see this as someone with a blank canvas, and they get to decide what they put on the canvas. And it's funny because today I put on my story a canvas and I was like, what should I paint? Like, I didn't know what to paint. I didn't know what to do because I feel like I've painted everything. If I look at my wall, I feel like I've painted everything that I could possibly paint, so painting is like one of the things now where it's like, well, I don't have any more space on my walls. What am I going to paint? You never know. But that's where the magician comes in. That's where the energy of the magician comes in, because magician is the one they have all the tools, they have the resources, and they just got to figure out what to do with it. Sometimes that's us. Sometimes we have the potential.
That's definitely
sometimes we
me.
have the power. Sometimes we have the gift. We just don't know what to do with it. So that's where the magician comes in and reminds us that
we
have these abilities. What'd you say? Or where to start?
Where to start, yeah.
That's a fact too. That's usually the fool's like little flaw is that it has the tools and resources, but sometimes it doesn't know what to do with them. And they just kind of looking at like, oh, well. Ooh. So I don't know where my high priestess card is, but that's what was next. I literally just see the empress here. So I don't know. But getting into the love and relationships, this is basically, I don't know, when I think of the magician, I just think of manifesting, period. Like, that's just kind of where my mind goes. So with love and relationships, this is basically just kind of, building your dream person. And I got plenty of notebooks full of characteristics and traits and things that I want my future partner to have and all that good stuff. So you could say that's what the love and relationships could mean. It could also mean that, you need to be more intentional about what you want in love and relationships, along with career, and finances. What do you want to receive? I saw a post on Facebook that was like, would you rather have 7K a week from work? Would you rather just have 30 million up front? And I saw a lot of people say 7K a week.
That's so crazy.
Working for 7K a week. And I'm like, you get 30 million, you don't even have to work. You can just chill. And if you spend it wisely, you don't even have to worry about working a day in your life, even if you do start.
Right. And you could flip it too, like invest in something.
So it makes me think of the magician, because the magician, like all of us, we have choices. So with that, it's like, are you going to take the easy way, or are you going to take the hard way out? And I saw a lot of people like 7K a week, 7K a week, 7K a week. Like, really? Like, y'all just want to work? Like, is that what y'all want to do? Y'all just really want to work? Like, if you really had a choice, you would just pick to make 7K a week from a job that you probably ain't gonna like. And then, inflation, things can be more expensive. Like, it just goes to show that the way society is conditioned, a lot of people don't feel like they can have the finer things in life. And the magician teaches us that we can have these things because we already have access to the tools that can bring us these things. So if y'all are struggling to find love, or struggling to find the right career path, or make enough money for whatever, it is because you're not seeing the tools and resources that you already have within you. So that's where we have to start doing more inner work, and we have to connect with our higher self and form a relationship so that we don't have to live in the way that we don't want to, or living in, scarcity, living in fear, or whatever the case may be. The magician reminds us that we are in control and that we hold power, and that if we want our lives to look a certain way, then we can make it look a certain way. But we have to start with that thought. It all starts in the mind. So you have to, start here, and then come down here, and then go all through your body and make those changes. So when it comes to finances and career, the magician reminds you to never give up on your dreams and aspirations. You will go as far as you allow yourself to. This is encouragement to take your goals in this area seriously. So if you guys have, like a dream board or a vision board, to say, whatever's there, like for my phone, for example, this is basically what I have. I showed this in the manifestation event, but, I have this vision board on my lock screen. So with that, I'm using that as my way to, remind myself that I can have everything that I'm seeing right there. Everything that I see on my phone every single day, I can have it. And that's what I'm basically affirming by having that as my lock screen. So a lot of people have
I need to thank you for that idea.
Yeah, definitely. It's helped me out a lot, So vision boards are great because I've heard that if you see it every day, then you're already experiencing it mentally. Our mind, our soul doesn't know the difference between real and fake. It just knows the experience that it's being given. So when you start to put things in your face every single day, whether it's a picture of $1 million or it's a picture of a new car, your mind, your soul already thinks that it's experiencing that. So it's going to create a reality where it's actually happening. So that's why you have to use our minds. Yeah.
And I visualize every day because I am very imaginative. Like I see the potential in me, so I see the life that I can live. So I stay in my head. I'm in my head all day, and I do not work on what I need to work on to get there. Like I love to listen to music as well. So it's like when I listen to my music, I just imagine myself living the life I want to live. I already see the potential of me getting there. I know I could be there, but I don't know why. I stay stagnant. And then every time I lose a job, I get so depressed. Like, dang, I have no money. How can I help my mom? Because see, I'm living with my mom and I'm helping her out and also helping my little sister out. And it's like I want to be able, and my little sister, she's very wanting, and I want to be able to give her things, but I just can't. And it's like it's hard. It's very hard, honestly.
It is hard, especially when you feel like other people's responsibilities are now yours.
Yes.
It's very hard. And I know I live it every day, but I think the good thing about it is that it's motivating and it just pushes me to get out of that space so that I don't have to struggle the way that my mom struggled or the way that my, other family members have struggled. Because it was a common theme in my upbringing was struggle. That's all I knew was struggle. So now I'm in a space where, I'm finding my way and finding my footing. And I may not be where I want to be right now, but it's all part of the process. Like I'm farther than what I was 2 years ago. So that's a good thing.
Great.
And some people only want to see the physical, like the external things, but because I know for me, mentally, I'm stronger, emotionally, I'm stronger, and I'm more vulnerable now than I was back then. So, some people want the car and the clothes and the money and all those things, but sometimes it takes for your internal to change in order for you to even get those things, and a lot of people don't understand that because they feel like, oh, well, I'm journaling and I'm reading and I'm doing this and why ain't I got no money yet? But it's because there's a lot of things within us that we have to work on. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that we're unlearning. So it's not going to be easy for things to just pop up and magically appear in our lives when our intent is to just get something out of doing the inner work rather than just doing the inner work because we know that, we have to, rather than just doing it for the sake of, oh, I just doing this for some money. Like, don't be performative with the healing, do it because you want to, because you need to.
Exactly.
Don't do it for the sense of, oh, I just want to make some money or whatever, because it's going to show up. And that's something that you also got to heal, So, are we good with this slide?
Yes.
All right. So I don't know where my High Priestess card is, so I can't really show y'all, but maybe it's in this deck. Maybe I can find it in here. But the High Priestess, I look at this as the Akashic records, the consciousness, the ability to see things beyond the physical, beyond the physical realm. I do Akashic record readings. So I know for a fact the High Priestess is the perfect card to represent that, because the High Priestess, here she is. The High Priestess knows all, okay? She has the information. She is the intuition. She is the psychic abilities. She's the Akashic records. So when in a general sense, if you pull this in just a general spread, this is basically going to be one of those things where you either already know the information or there's some digging that you got to do. In loving relationships, this is where you want to start using your discernment, because when the High Priestess comes out, when it comes to love or relationships, you have to ask yourself, is this genuine? Does it feel right? Am I overlooking, any red flags? That's where you just kind of have to come to your senses and get grounded in the information that you have, or what you know. So in finances and career, this is basically where you're going to choose a path that really resonates with you as an individual rather than what everyone else is doing or what everybody else, subscribes to. And then as far as the spiritual journey goes, this is one of those cards where, I kind of see this as a sign to just take a step back. And like I said before, getting grounded. So the high priestess, this is someone that holds a lot of information. They hold and carry a lot of secrets, which is why the planet that's associated with it is the moon. So if you are anybody that's into astrology, you know that the moon holds a lot of weight in our natal chart. It's not only our relationship with our mother, but it's our secrets, it's our dark side, it's our comfort, it's so many other things. And that is why the high priestess is the moon, because she holds a lot of information. She may not say a lot, but she knows a lot. Okay. So a lot of people feel like the high priestess. I feel more like the next.
I was just gonna say, that's me.
Yeah.
Because it's Pisces, and I'm a Pisces, so, but with the clairvoyance, I forget which one it is, the one that's already knowing, like, that's my
claircognizance.
Yeah, I be already knowing like what it is without having to even know even a lot of information. I don't even be knowing nothing. I just saying the right thing at the right time, and it's just like as I speak it happens. That's my psychic ability. If I speak it, or if I have to put my 2 cents in it, it's gonna end up happening. And it may not play out word for word how I said it would, but it's
plays
just
out.
like this. What? And I didn't know it was associated, because I know the moon in tarot also represents the Pisces, but I didn't know the high priestess, the sign there was the moon as well. So that all makes sense. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, my moon sign is in Cancer, where I feel like that's a flex, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Cancer is very intuitive. Water signs, period, are just very intuitive.
Yeah.
Because y'all pick up on feelings, and a lot of people don't understand our soul is water, like we're made up of water. So when you're a water sign, you feel everything around you, even if you don't want to. Like a lot of y'all have to figure out how to place a shield so that you're not picking up on everybody's emotions. You're not picking up on people's trauma. Like y'all have to learn to.
Yes.
And being in Baton Rouge, I pick up on everybody paranoia, and it's just it's
and that's why tomorrow we're talking about protection. So if y'all want to learn how to protect yourselves and keep yourselves from picking up on everything around y'all.
You're doing it all. I love that.
Yes,
wow. Okay.
I do it all. This is what I do.
That's in the group chat, or that's in this, you having another
So it'll be another event like this. So y'all can go sign up for that. Yeah, it'll be protection and crystals. So y'all sign up for that. Y'all can learn how to protect yourselves and all that good stuff.
I'm off for the next 3 days. So yep, I'll be on here.
Period. I'll be going live same time. So it'll always be at 7 p.m. just because I want to keep it consistent. I don't want to be like, 7 p.m. tomorrow or 8 p.m. tomorrow. It's good. So
are you like, where you at? You in Texas?
I'm in Kentucky.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Where's everybody else from?
I'm in DC, so I was like, I have to do the time difference.
Philly.
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, LA.
LA, okay.
Louisiana,
wow.
Baton Rouge.
Okay, Louisiana. I was supposed to go there for my birthday.
My birthday in December. Where can I go, y'all? I'm trying to come visit one of y'all.
Look, don't come to Kentucky. I'm gonna tell you right now. You do not want to come here.
Don't come to. Well, you can go to New Orleans. Everybody go to New Orleans for
Oregon
for a lot of stuff. So.
New Orleans. It's cold in DC in December time. So if that's snowing,
was y'all ever in LA? Come see me. Come get a Yoni skin.
And where you at? Where you located? Cause
I'm in LA.
Oh yeah, LA for sure. I'll be out there. I'll be out there in April.
Yeah, and my little sister, she go out there for every summer because my mom, she's born in LA too. So
that's so dope.
I have to come out there.
I love how we're all from different places. Like nobody's from Kentucky.
Keep talking up in the group chat.
Yes, make sure y'all join the group chat too. I don't know if everybody joins, but if y'all ain't joined, y'all better join. We're trying to get it lit in there and just be a little dry sometimes, but we got to get it lit.
Yeah, I can get it wet.
Does anybody need the link again, or is everybody there? Everybody good on the group chat stuff?
I have to download it.
Khadija, your connection is messing up. Yeah, I don't know what Khadija is saying. Khadija, your connection was messing up for a second there. But yeah, I sent it again. I don't know if it works. Let me try. Let me click it and see if it takes me to where I need to go. Oh, it didn't go anywhere. Maybe because I'm already in it. But yeah, if anybody does need it, I just dropped it again in the chat. So it should work. If it doesn't work, just let me know. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But all right, y'all. I went over an hour. But we will keep this going. Oh, it wasn't working. Here, let me drop a new one. I'm gonna make a new one real quick. Okay, let me try again. Okay, so I'm dropping it in again. Oh, okay. All right, this will be for everyone. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we're gonna finish the major arcana next week because I feel like it's gonna be a long, it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here all night. But if y'all join the group chat, we can talk and just get into the tarot stuff if y'all want to. But I know I gotta tinkle really bad and I gotta go do something. So I'm gonna stop it here. When I make the flyer for next week, y'all can just join again. Or if y'all are in the group chat, then that's perfect because I can just send y'all the Zoom link and y'all can jump on or sign up. However y'all want to do it, it's up to y'all. But this is it, and I'm excited. We off to a good start. We got some information in. So next week is where we'll finish the major arcana, and then the week after we'll get into the minor arcana, and then the week after that we will be getting into the psychic ability. So I feel like it all will work itself out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining, and thanks to everybody else that joined, whether you spoke or not. I appreciate your presence and just being here and absorbing the information that I was here to provide. That is it, and that is all. That is all I have to share. But if you guys would like to join the group chat and be with me, feel free. I love y'all. Don't forget to hydrate and meditate.
Okay, thanks
and I will
everyone.
see y'all
Nice
next
to meet
time.
everybody. Have a good night.
Nice to
You
meet
too.
everybody.
Nice to meet
Good
y'all.
night.
Bye. Good night.
All right, bye.